The city of Bengaluru and its cricket culture has just been delivered a massive blow, a consequence of the long drawn out, heart-wrenching saga post the Indian Premier League, where a stampede killed 11 people and injured many others, turning an act of celebration into a horrid episode. So what does this latest ruling imply? It calls the Bengaluru cricket stadium unsafe. That happened some days ago, but the question now is, what could this impact and who does this ruling hurt the most? Now, RCB is a club that has a massive fan following. Both the men's and women's teams have built a strong connect with the local fans. This despite RCB's legacy of being a side way too talented to go winless. The women, of course, brought some respite when they lifted the WPL title in 2024, putting the onus on the men's team this year. And come 2025, IPL's 18th edition and Virat Kohli's jersey number 18 got people thinking this was destined to be. That this would be the year Virat Kohli would earn redemption and taste IPL victory finally. And it happened. But here's the tragedy. What was supposed to be a moment of pride, ecstasy and euphoria turned into one of nightmare. The stampede right after an ill-thought-through, badly planned post-win celebration marred the victory itself. The matter went to the courts, the IPL franchisee and the state authorities got into a bit of a tussle, and the strike came down hard on the IPL team RCB. They, along with the Karnataka Cricket Association, were held squarely responsible for the utter mayhem and the deaths, and rightly so. But who does this impact the most? It's you, the fans, because with the court deeming the stadium to be unsafe for any major events, there is a question mark on now the Women's World Cup fixtures that was scheduled for this venue to host. Now, the Chinnaswamy Stadium is one of the smaller venues in the country, in India. It can only seat around 40,000 spectators. Now, while that is a relatively large number, especially when you look at stadiums outside the country, it is a relatively smaller number for India, going by the population and the interest and attendance cricket normally generates. Plus, the stadium is far more compact for a 44,000 capacity. Let's look at the boundaries. They are smaller. Circumference is less compared to the other venues in the country itself, just around the 60 to 65 meter average all through the ground. So it basically resembles a cauldron that's packed in with a lot of people. In fact, recently the KSCA, Karnataka State Cricket Association, were forced to move the Maharaja Cup T20 tournament that was set to take place in Bengaluru over to Mysore. And with the authorities yet to get the necessary clearance from the state government to host matches in Bengaluru, there is uncertainty over the Women's World Cup games. The tournament begins on the 30th of September, and the opening game, in fact, between India and Sri Lanka is scheduled to take place at the Chinnaswamy. The KSCA, though, seem hopeful. Now, why is it imperative that Bengaluru hosts the World Cup games? I'll tell you why. The 4 cities that have been picked to host the Women's World Cup are Bengaluru, Indore, Guwahati and Visakhapatnam. Those are the 4 cities: Bengaluru, Indore, Guwahati and Visakhapatnam. Barring Bengaluru, all other venues are Tier 2 cities. Now, while that works for a men's game, which generally has more attendance, it doesn't play out when it comes to the women's matches. Bengaluru is the only Tier 1 city in that list and the only venue that can hope for a full house, a full attendance. I'll tell you why. Reason 1, cricket is big here. They have a culture that is deep-rooted. Cricketers from the state who have gone on to represent the country. There is history, there is legacy. Reason 2, there's an IPL and a WPL team, both successful and that have a huge fan following. We've established that. The vice captain of the national side is an RCB captain, so the spectators will come in hordes. Reason 3, the avid interest in sport itself in the city. They have a thriving ISL team where the captain of the national side, till he retired of course, is the face of the Bengaluru FC, Sunil Chhetri. India's golden boy Neeraj Chopra recently hosted an athletics event in the city, a one of a kind. The city loves sport, and that's why it's important that the Women's World Cup matches go on here. But that's where this story is stuck. Because it's this very passion and love that has ironically hit a pause button on a love affair that would have continued and flourished happily had that awful stampede not taken place. While it's a moment to reflect and retrospect for authorities to learn from this heinous episode, it will be disappointing if a World Cup that India should proudly host will pay the price as collateral damage.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka kaiju.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali.
Japanese,
4 兆ドル以上も
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select a language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.